Oh, right. Hello, welcome to the Bookcast Club. A book for people who love to chat. A book. Fucking hell, right?
Okay, we'll try that one again.
A podcast for people who love to chat books. I'm Jenny, coming to you from Norwich in the UK, and I'm joined by Sarah, coming to you from the Netherlands, and Belle, who's in Melbourne,
Yep.
Australia, right? Got that right? Hi, both. How are we doing?
Hello. Greetings.
Greetings.
We're doing okay, I think.
Yeah, I think
Speaking on Sarah's behalf, I think we're all right. Yeah.
so. Yeah, we're good. Me and Belle are good. Thanks, Belle. The answer is one.
We are enthusiastic and raring to go. It is fairly early here in the UK. I've just torn through breakfast with the kids and tried to get them out the door. And evening for Belle. So anybody who's not used to this format of us three recording together, once the clocks change in spring, I don't know, it suddenly feels like it becomes so much more difficult to record together. I don't know why that is. Is that the right way around? Yeah, it's harder now, isn't it? In the summer.
We normally do, when it's winter time in the UK, then we normally do evenings in the UK and mornings in Australia. But then when it's summertime in the UK, then it's a shorter time difference. So then we have to do mornings in the UK and evenings in Australia. That's
which
why.
Essentially restricts us to
weekends, basically.
Yeah.
Which is
Saturday mornings.
Yeah, I like the evening recordings. They're my preference, and I think Belle prefers because you're a very early morning person. Well,
yeah,
you seem to
I
be.
don't mind.
You're always up for the
I don't mind the
podcast.
mornings. Yeah,
I don't mind in the morning.
Yeah,
nothing
she's
I'd rather be
happy then.
doing. Yeah,
At 7.
7 a.m.
She's up. She's up at 6. She's like, here we go.
Well,
my life's work.
It's lovely to see you both. We actually both all saw each other not that long ago in real life, which I don't think any of our listeners will be aware of. We haven't chatted to the patrons about it either. I think we've posted on Instagram to show we were all in the same place at the same time for the first time ever. But yeah, we had a lovely little weekend in Norfolk together. Not much reading. Did any reading happen?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think any reading happened.
We went to a bookshop.
We bought some books. Yeah.
Book shopping happened. Yeah, we bought. Can I tell you a story about that weekend, Sarah?
Me?
Yeah.
You're telling me a story?
A subsequent story related to that weekend. Ben came up to me the other, came up to the bedroom, the office, whatever. I was sat working, and he came up and dropped this piece of paper in front of me. He had a parking ticket from that airport. Naughty.
What?
Yeah, on that, that road that. So for the listener, Norwich has an airport. It's tiny. Oh, God knows how many flights there are a day, 3 maybe. It's a tiny airport, and there's loads of roads around this airport, and there are big signs saying you mustn't stop, no drop off, no pickup, whatever. And there's red lines everywhere, right? But where he'd parked didn't have a red line. But it's these. I don't know if you have these parking companies that they're prolific. That's probably not the right word. Predatory in the UK, and they work on a camera operated system, so they'll catch you on the camera, and then they're really hard to appeal against because it's all privately run, it's nothing to do with the local councils or whatever. So yes, there's a video of him stopping, me getting out of the car, pictures from screenshots of a video, and being
my God.
hey, that's fine. So we've appealed it because we weren't parked on a red line, but apparently if it's a private road system, they can essentially do what the hell they want with the lines. I'm like, what?
God.
So yeah, that's
outrageous.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
So that was my fun story to tell you after our weekend. Yeah,
How much was the fine?
£100 unless you pay £60 within a week of getting it. Honestly, they're this is why anybody from the UK is going to be sharing in my outrage, because these parking companies are awful, and the government's trying to sort out how they do it, because that's what they do. But
I was blown
really
away
bad.
when we were in that tiny town that I can't remember the name.
Ah, yes. Hull.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you were this. Yeah, you go, Belle.
It all makes sense now why
Why I was so like, you've got to pay for this car park.
We were like, I think it will be all right.
Yeah, we went to this tiny supermarket in the middle of, to me, it felt like the middle of nowhere. And then Jenny was really, I was going to say paranoid, but I guess I use that word. I use that word advisedly about the parking situation. And Belle and I were, I can say it now, we're both clearly like, okay, Jenny. Like, Jenny maybe parked down the road. And I was just like, I think we both thought she'd sort of gone around the bend a bit. We were like, okay, Jen.
She's really stressed about the parking attendant. I just knew because that car park didn't have barriers that it was doing it with a camera system, and they're just awful. So that's why I was so over the top about that car park.
Yeah, you sounded very
you £100.
Belle and I were just like, it's like when you're looking after someone with dementia, Belle and I were both just like, okay, we'll just go along with it.
We'll just go along with it. You're like, we'll get the ticket.
Park further down the road, bit annoying, but all right.
There's cameras here.
So there you go.
Jenny thinks there's cameras everywhere. Always watching.
Yeah, a big brother.
So Sarah, Jen and I booked an Airbnb in Holt.
Yeah.
Sort of between Holt and
Clyde.
Clyde on the Sea, I think, is these two gorgeous towns near where our lovely Airbnb was. And yeah, we had a delightful weekend together. We did a lot of sitting around on the couch in front of the fire, and what did we do? Ate yummy food.
Watched the birds.
Watched the birds out the window, which was very sweet.
My highlight was the Sunday roast dinner we had, I think.
Yes, yeah. Which also my husband Ben has not stopped talking about the fact that we went for that roast.
Ben had a really rough weekend because he had the kids, and we went out for a really nice Sunday lunch. And
rubbed it in his face when we got back.
And he had the kids for actually 3 nights it turned out, because I stayed with Jenny for 2 nights after we left Belle. We left her there. So then that night, Jenny and I went to cinema. So
we did, didn't we?
Yeah, we're like, sorry, man.
Buggered off. Sorry, we're going, and it's only on at 6 o'clock. So yeah, we got to go. Yeah, he had a busy weekend. So yeah, the roast dinner, this amazing carvery that we went for. Yeah, that was really like the icing on the cake, right?
Yeah, Ben was furious because we weren't that far away from him. So he was like,
"You could have called me."
The kids. And we're like, oh.
Could we?
It's pretty hard to do, though. Might have spoiled our vibe.
Also, we went our table absolutely could have fit 6 people. It was massive.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Really room.
We went to a couple of lovely bookshops, though, secondhand bookshops. One called called the Clay Pot?
Well done. I wouldn't have remembered that. It's a cute little secondhand bookshop in
Crab Pot. Sorry, it was called the Crab Pot.
Clay. I know. If people don't know Norfolk, there's loads of different places spelt in funny ways that are said in the complete opposite. It's really hard to pronounce stuff. So we've had a whole debate that weekend as to whether it was Clay or Cly. It's spelt C-L-E-Y. It was
Cly. Because I asked the man in the bookshop.
Checked with the local. Yeah,
he was the local. So it was a little shop called Cly next. Sorry, the town was called Cly next the sea, which is very cute. And then the secondhand bookshop was called Crab Pot Books, and that was lovely. And then we went to, where did we go, Jen? We went to this massive, beautiful manor.
This moment on the weekend is one I wish I'd recorded.
Oh, yeah.
Belle's face.
Highlight.
Yeah, so we went to National Trust. Again, if you're in the UK, you'll be visioning what we saw. We went to Blickling Hall, which is a National Trust property. And yeah, I really wish I could have recorded Belle's face as we rounded the corner and she saw this building, which obviously I've seen a million times. Sarah's been before. We were just ploughing our way to the bookshop.
Jenny and I just took cool. That's the thing. That's the bottom line.
But Belle's reaction was so great. When she
that was actually maybe my highlight of the weekend. That was
it is an impressive build. It is one of the more impressive buildings, actually. So yeah, you were right.
Like something out of a storybook. I was so excited. You did warn me as well. You're like, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, sure. I'm sure it's gonna be nice. It'll be pretty. But yeah, no, I was very excited. There was a row of hedges, so you couldn't see anything until you were basically directly in front. It was very long road leading up to this massive house. Yeah, it felt like something straight out of a movie. So that was pretty exciting. And then they've got a hall where they have a secondhand bookshop in as well.
I think it's their biggest bookshop. So the National Trust have secondhand bookshops at a lot of their properties, and I think that's their biggest one. Yeah, so it's pretty impressive.
Very good bookshop.
And you don't have to pay. God, I feel like their tourist guide. If anybody's in Norfolk and in the area, you don't have to pay to go to that bit. So it's quite expensive to get into the hall, but you can get to the bookshop for free. So it's well worth a stop.
Yeah, the first time we went, it was also, I feel like it was May the first time I went with you, Jen. So it was like spring, and there's a huge garden, which is also free. And that's awesome. So it's a really good place to go, I'd say, in general. And there's also like coffee. Like, it's all there. Everything you need is really there.
And access the coffee.
So Jen and Sarah, like, as the parents on the trip,
give you an hour.
Like,
we were like,
we're gonna go get a coffee. You go to the bookshop, and then we've got a strict
1 hour
limit, and then we're leaving.
And then we have to give her a warning. We're like, 10-minute warning, Belle. We're going to start to make our way back over.
I did well. I'm so excited because I got a beautiful, very old copy. I think it's from the 50s. A copy of Swallows and Amazons.
Oh, is that what you bought?
You know that one? Yeah. So it's a book my mum loved reading, so I read it as a child, but I've been meaning to reread it. I've got a friend who owns a bookshop in Tasmania, and he was reading it with his daughter when she was about, 3 or 4, and they were pregnant and about to have another baby, and this little girl was determined that her new little sister was going to be called Fat Vicky after the character in Swallows and Amazons, like the baby character, I think, is called Fat Vicky. I don't remember. And so they've been asking
I love that.
They were asking Ivy what should we call, baby sister? Fat Vicky. Yeah. So spoiler alert, they did not use that name, but yeah.
That's so
much
funny.
to Ivy's disappointment.
It's very, very cute.
Oh, that's a nice thing to have, though, a book from when you were small. I used to have all these Beatrix Potter books, and I'm really annoyed with myself. I threw them all. I went through this like desperate minimalism phase when I was like 18, 19. And I threw away, or I didn't throw them away, I gave them away. And I'm really annoyed at myself for that. Because they're all those, like, those cute little sets with like Jemima and... They're
like small, weren't they? Yeah, yes. I had those, and mine definitely went too. I feel like, but I remember me and my sister wanting a... I mean, people know how old I am on this podcast. We wanted a Sega Mega Drive, and my mum was like, well, that's fine, but you need to like sell some of your toys. And yeah, I had that ruthless moment where I didn't give a shit about my Beatrix Potter books, and off they went. And I wish my mum had stopped me, but there we go. She was teaching me finances. So
yeah, my mum's also irresponsible like that, Jen. She didn't stop me like that.
Yeah, all Lego, Sylvanian families, they all went. And now obviously I have my own children. I'm like, oh, I wish I'd kept things. So yeah.
Anyway, I've got a gorgeous vintage copy of Swallows and Amazons that I'm very excited to reread. It's got a really cute inscription on it, like from, I don't know, a little kid's birthday in the 50s. It's sweet.
Oh. Just stick it up on Instagram, Belle. I'm sure people would like to see that.
I'm sure.
Lots of people. No, I don't know it. Maybe I had a deprived childhood, which we probably did.
No.
Anyway.
No. I definitely hadn't heard of it except the fact my mum had read it, so I wouldn't have heard of it otherwise. And I don't think I've heard of it in other contexts other than the friend that I was just telling you about. So, yeah.
Oh, I've definitely heard of it, but never read it. Shall we? Well,
can I say one more thing about Lexi Hall
yes,
before we move on? I did have a nice conversation when I got back to the Netherlands, Belle, with some... This is only for Belle, Jen, so please don't listen. About you with my partner and his family. And I was telling them, because they're all Dutch, and I was telling them how you were like so enthusiastic about the hall and stuff. And it's actually really fun to like do something like that with like an Australian. I mean, I am Australian, but I've lived here for ages. So we get all like kind of fatigued with it. We're like, oh, another crooked wall. Like, God, this wall's annoying. And you have like this like great appreciation for it. So like if you go somewhere like that with someone like you, and you also have such a like, great appreciation for things. So I was like, oh, it was quite good to see things like kind of more through Belle's eyes and not just be like, oh, it's a long walk. And then they were talking about how they always just like, they go around all these old places. They're like, oh, these windows are shit. Why hasn't anyone fixed it? Like, oh, this wall is
so dark.
You can tell this is an old wall. It's not straight. That kind of thing. So.
I have been told I bring a bit of a childlike wonder to, and I don't think that's entirely a compliment sometimes.
I think it's nice.
I loved it. It was great.
Well, I was very excited. I'm very glad you picked that spot, Jen, to take us to. So thank you.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Right. So I would say at this point, shall we introduce the new season?
Yeah.
But we're gonna be changing things up a little bit.
Well, this is a good segue because this also happened during the break. The weekend.
Go on, Sarah. Do you want to?
So during the weekend away in the car, I knew I had to talk to you guys about this because it was on my mind. And this is, so basically the long and the short of it is that a podcast is a lot of work, and the format that we've changed it up quite a few times, as long-term listeners will know. And we're constantly trying to figure out like a sustainable long-term format because it's loads of work and it's fun, but it's a sort of odd combination of fun and annoying, to be honest. And then on the way, I think it was on the way to this hold, actually, this that we were talking about, that I was just like, you guys, I need to do something because
I can't do it anymore.
I need to quit the podcast.
It was very ominous. It was sort of like, I think we just got in the car, started driving, and Sarah's like,
now's
so
the
guys,
time.
can we talk about the podcast real quick?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, now's the time after the weekend is done.
Yeah.
And be like, no more.
When
I'm
we're
never gonna
all
see
in
you
our
again.
branded hoodies.
yeah. Because Jenny
Sarah's
put
like,
the
I'm leaving the
nav in the
podcast.
car, and I saw it was like 18 minutes, and I was like, oh, that's my 18-minute window.
Time. Yeah,
It's enough time.
when I can't get away, when there's nothing to look at. So I always put off conversations like that. So anyway, so we've decided to change to I said that I find the podcast a little bit too much, and then everyone really rapidly agreed. I was
like, thank God, it's really
like,
stressful.
Which was nice. So you guys were very much on board, which was a big relief. So we've decided to scale back the episodes and basically do monthly episodes now, which I think it's a great idea. I was really pumped by it at the end.
I think it's done a lot for our enthusiasm. I have thought about it before, but when you add up how many episodes we used to do, which would be 2 seasons,
20.
10 episodes, like 20 plus the bonus episodes, like we were doing 30 episodes a year. No wonder we find it too much at points. And I think for me, I'd thought about it a few times. I guess I finish a season and think, I wonder how much longer we can do this for. But then we have a few months off, and then I kind of get over it and we go for it again. And actually, it was good that you said it, because it's not the best way to do it. We all complain that it ruins our reading for months, and I think it'll work a lot better in terms of being a bit more like, well, when me and Alice started, which, can you believe, is nearly 10 years ago now, 2017 we started, we didn't know what we were doing. So we didn't even have a schedule of any sort whatsoever. We just used to record as and when we fancied it, which meant when we did record, like, we'd all done loads of reading, we had loads of books to talk about, and we were always enthusiastic. And I think that's what we try our best, but it's hard to maintain that level of enthusiasm and not do things last minute and not get stressed out about it with the way we were scheduling things. So hopefully this is better for everybody all round.
It gives us more time to have read more, just like of our own motivations as well between episodes, so that when we come back together, we've got more to talk about, and maybe we're a bit more enthusiastic about it, and we probably haven't talked much, between, we've got a group chat and that like pops off every now and then, but it's nice. I think just trying to save all our book chat for a monthly episode, and we could probably all get here a little bit more as well.
The three of us together.
Yeah, which would be nice. And then we'll of course still do the Patreon episodes as well.
Yeah, so I think that's the main thing really, is that we'll do monthly on the main pod. I mean, I guess we might still have a summer month off and Christmas off, I suspect, but we're still going to be on Patreon. So we're there once a month. You can pay from as little as £2. We have a higher tier that you can join if you want book recommendations and books in the post, but otherwise all our other tiers are the same. So you get the access to the bonus episodes. So we try to keep that as cheap as we can.
It's basically a pay what you want scheme.
Yeah, you can.
So you can sort of sign up for whichever one you suits your finances and enthusiasm, I guess.
What would you... Somebody else pitch our Patreon episodes. How would you describe them?
Oh, they're nice. They're my favourites, actually. So they're a little bit less structured. We tend to talk more about like what's sort of currently going on with our like reading. You'll hear us be a little bit more negative on the, or like not a little bit more negative on the main podcast. We tend to like review books like quite intentionally. On the Patreon, we might talk through sort of like what we're currently reading, stuff we might not bring to the main pod. So like the kind of 3-4 star books, that kind of stuff. So there's like a bit more higher quantity of books, I would say. Here we tend to be a little bit more curated. We'll also talk about like things we've been watching, so like films, that kind of thing. And so we have a bit of a mix. But so yeah, I really like them. I don't know, they're my favorites. I don't know why, really. And it's normally 2 of us, I would say.
Belle, you'll get this, because I think me and you are going to do the April episode. I'm desperate to talk to someone about Schitt's Creek, which I've just finished. So I'm bereft, and I need to speak about it. So I'll save that for
Have you seen?
Episode.
There's a new show out by Dan Levy as well.
I have seen that he's got a new show out. Yeah,
so maybe I'll watch a little bit of that, and we can talk about
back.
That. Yeah,
there we go. What a tease!
Yeah, I think. If our usual episodes are, probably a little bit like pared back in terms of just silly chat and catch-ups and, a little, I guess, they're a little bit more curated, whereas our Patreon ones probably feel a little bit more like just having a chat with some friends over a cup of tea.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah,
good.
A little bit more casual. So, if you're interested in having another episode a month from us, then signing up to the Patreon is a way that you can have a little bit more content from us. And we also will be doing a Patreon book club at some point soon. We have to finalize the timing, but with the Patreon book club, we will get our patrons to help us choose a book, and then usually give like a month's notice or something so that everyone can have a read, and then actually you can tune in. I think we worked it out so that we could have everyone in a chat, and there's no obligation to speak, of course, or to say anything really, but it's a way that you can be involved in a book club format with us in real time.
Shall we chat about our reading and how our reading's been? We've not been together chatting reading for a few months now, so I'm intrigued to see how, especially with the format change. I think when we had the conversation about the format change, I certainly was stuck in reading for the podcast. So as soon as we decided we're going to move to monthly, I was like, I can read whatever I want. So yeah, I'm intrigued to see how your guys' reading has been over the last few months.
I'm going to tell you about one book that I read over, I guess it's my summer. I think I read this in January. The best book that I've read so far this year is a book called The Fate of Mary Rose, which I think I did pop up a book review on the Instagram. I read this when I was away in Thailand, and it was the sort of complete opposite to the vibe of the book. Like I was sitting on the beach on like a deck chair, looking out over beautiful Thailand beach and like all these big rocks coming out of the water, and reading a gothic sort of psychological thriller. So The Fate of Mary Rose is a rediscovered and republished classic from an author called Carolyn Blackwood. It was first published in 1981 actually, and republished by Virago Modern Classics in 2024. It is a haunting cautionary tale about humanity's true crime fiction fascination. Sorry, there was such a delay between those two words. It is about female rage and collective hysteria, and it is absolutely fantastic. I loved it. This should be compulsory reading, I believe. It's essentially, I can't say too much without ruining it, you just need to read it, but it's about a man, the narrator is a man called Rowan, and he's got a wife and a daughter who live in a sleepy Kent village where a child abduction takes place. which sets into motion a set of sort of very disturbing and disaster-ridden events that unfold over a weekend. And it's got unreliable narrators and a lot of female rage. It's fantastic, and I loved it, and you should read it.
I ordered this for one of our patrons, actually.
Oh, good.
I thought it sounded so good. I was like, I think they'll enjoy that. In your review, you compared it to, or her to, Shirley Jackson. So I think I'm very intrigued to read it, because obviously I love Shirley Jackson. And every time you talk about this book, I'm like, I must get to that. It sounds great.
I'm currently reading two Australian books. One is a memoir and one is a fiction. The memoir is called Memorial Days by Geraldine Brooks, and that I think has been longlisted. Yeah, it's been longlisted for the Stella this year, and so I put a hold on it at my library, and I've just picked that up. It says a memoir of sudden loss and a journey towards peace. And the next is I'm about to start is Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McConaghy. And this one has been shortlisted, I think, for the Women's Prize. Long-listed for the Women's Prize in Fiction. There we go. It's about a family who live on a remote island, and a mysterious woman washes ashore, which, again, sets off a number of dark events in this family's peaceful sort of existence. So I am looking forward to reading that as well.
Both of those I want to read, actually. Geraldine Brooks is like a very well-known, I guess, Australian author. I've actually never read anything of her. She's one of those authors that I'm like, every time she comes up, I'm like, oh yeah, I must read something by her. Yeah, and that memoir of hers, I'm looking forward to hearing what you think of it, actually, about when you get around to it, because it sounds really good. And I've seen a lot of people comparing it to that Joan Didion memoir, like A Year of Magical Thinking.
It's about her husband. It's about her husband dying, which I guess is the same context as that memoir from Joan Didion, and it features Tasmania as well.
Really?
I think she's writing it from Flinders Island in Tasmania 3 years after losing her husband really suddenly. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to reading that as well.
And then the Charlotte McConaghy, she's called, right? The Wild Dark Shore. Yeah, I really like to read that as well. That's one of the ones on the Women's Prize. Well, I'm sort of waiting for the shortlist to come out, because we are going to do a shortlist episode in June. But I'm sort of assuming it will be on there, to be honest. So I'm looking forward to it. I never read that book of hers, Once We Were Wolves. That's also supposed to be really good.
Yeah, that one's on my TBR. That was meant to be really good.
Yeah, so they're two authors that I'm like, oh yes, must get around to that. Can I talk about me?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm reading two books at the moment that I'm really enjoying. The first one is I'm reading Hannah Kent's memoir. So she's one of my favourite authors. She's also Australian. She's the one who wrote Burial Rites and The Good People and Devotion. We did an episode about her a few years ago, which we can link in the show notes, I guess. And her memoir came out, I think, last year or the year before. And it basically came out because she was having some writer's block and basically wrote this instead. And it's really, really good. So it's about her. So she's Australian, but she lived in Iceland for a while. And that's the source of inspiration for her debut novel, which was Burial Rites. And she talks about in the memoir when she lived in Iceland and where she lived and what it was like. She was only 16, I think, when she first went there for a whole year by herself. And she is just such a beautiful writer. Like, she evokes this. Iceland is a very, like, sort of unique landscape. And she evokes it so well. And she explains this feeling of being someone who lives in two different places, like in Australia and in Iceland, so well. And she describes this like feeling of sort of, I mean, the title of the book is beautiful, Always Home, Always Homesick. She describes this feeling of never quite being at home in either of those places, like incredibly well. So if you're someone like me who lives in a different place to where you were born, I think this would really hit home for you, I think. And she talks about Iceland itself, and then she also talks about the writing of her first novel, which took her many years, actually, of research. She was in Australia when she started to write it, but she actually had to go back to Iceland multiple times to do research. She was going to like tiny museums and like looking at old archives that don't exist anywhere else. And she talks about all the things that she did to try and like get the story. She even like consulted mediums and stuff and like went around to old farmers in Iceland because the story in Burial Rites, it's based on a true story, and it took place sort of just recently enough that there's sort of common knowledge a little bit about it. There's kind of folklore sort of still with people who are still alive today in Iceland. So she went and talked to like, yeah, all these old farmers about things that had happened and all this kind of stuff. So it's just super interesting. If you're interested in writing and this kind of story of writers, I think you would really, really enjoy it. So that's basically the story of it. It's just awesome.
I really want to read this. I've got it. It's does your Libby app do this with the library where actually once you've reached the front of the queue, you can like suspend a hold? So yeah, it's there. I'm right at the front. I just haven't got around to reading it yet. I read Burial Rites just after. It was actually me and Alice had been to Iceland, went to Reykjavik, and I read it when I got back. And me and Alice had been to like a museum of Icelandic life, and they had the little houses that she describes. I'm doing like the roof symbol to people. Yeah, they've got a proper name, but where there's like the roofs are kind of covered in grass, aren't they? And they look kind of like part of the landscape. Yeah, I think that was part of the reason why I loved that book so much, is that her sense of place is just so good.
Yeah, I think you'll love this, Jen, because then she really gets into the sort of the process of her writing and what happened, and I think you'll find it really interesting. She talks about her struggle with it and how she paused with it for a long time and what kind of
I might get to
if you like sort of like on writing as well, those kind of memoirs. I think,
love anything like that.
Yeah, I think you'll really like it. It's just awesome. I think I'm going to be giving it to all my friends here who were internationals. Like, read this. And the other one is I'm listening to the audiobook of The Rosefield by Philip Pullman still, which is the third book in the Book of Dust trilogy, which is a spin-off of I think it's called the Northern Lights trilogy, or like the Golden Compass or whatever. So this one is the final book in the trilogy, and it came out a couple of months ago. I think it came out in October, and they're just really awesome. I really recommend these books, and I really recommend the audiobooks particularly because they're done by Michael Sheen, and he does a really, really good job. He gives like really good voices. I love it when it's not so over the top that you have like different actors in the audiobook, but when you have a narrator who's like really into it, and that's what he does. So they're just like awesome. They're just really good. If you like fantasy, read them there. Or not even, it's quite mild fantasy. If you like kind of, I don't know, adventure novels, I guess. They're awesome.
Love Michael Sheen.
Yeah,
I
he's
just want to listen to Michael Sheen.
Yeah, you like him because he's Welsh.
I do.
I guess. But he does that thing where he puts on a slight voice, but not so much that it's silly. You know what I mean? So it's like a perfect, excellent. If you're looking for a good audiobook, these are excellent.
So I finished, and who'd have thought, last night I finished The Correspondent by Virginia Evans. So this has been longlisted for the Women's Prize. I think I'd come across it. I have a good friend, Sarah, another Sarah, one of the many Sarahs who comes on the pod. She's been on the pod before, and we were in Waterstones in Norwich, and she said, "Oh, have you heard about this book?" And I hadn't at the time, and I wasn't that intrigued because the cover in the UK is, I mean, it's very commercial women's fiction. It's had like probably offended lots of people there, but it's like bright pink, bright red. It's got a post box on the front, and it looks like a postage stamp. Like, it's not an awful cover, it's just not one that I would pick up. The American cover, even less so. I think the American cover is like a branch with two robins on. It looks very, very twee, and I think maybe you and I, Sarah, must have talked about this one in the March bonus episode for the Patreons. But it had I don't know, something in me is telling me it won't be shortlisted now because I've read it, and that's how it goes. Everybody that's reading it, trying to preempt the shortlist of the Women's Prize, you can stop because I've completed it. It had the longest wait on Libby, like really long. So I was like, do you know what? I'm gonna get it, and it came through relatively quickly, which means I think the library probably bought more copies because the queue is so long. Do you know what? I bloody loved it. It was great. I gave it 4.5 stars. I haven't given a book that high a rating in forever. I think the format of it was putting me off. So it's epistolary. It's written in letters. I've never enjoyed a book written in letters. I genuinely find it doesn't work because authors use too much detail. And this is just me as an absolute pedantic person. I cannot let it go that people wouldn't write letters in the level of detail that normally happens in an epistolary novel, and I cannot get past it. It really grates on me. But this one wasn't like that at all. So it's written from, well, not completely from, but it's about Sybil van Antwerp, and she is the correspondent in question. She writes lots of letters, essentially. My mum's the same. She loves to write a letter. So I was like, oh, that's quite sweet. It's not twee at all. She's kind of a cantankerous, stuck in her ways kind of lady. You learn as the book goes on that she was in quite a high-powered job at some point, legal job. And she's writing to loads of different people. So she's writing to her gay brother who lives, I think he lives in France. You find out she's adopted at some point because she's having email correspondence with, I think he's a Syrian refugee. So she's very nosy. You describe her as being nosy because she's sending these emails that you're like, I don't think you should be talking to somebody like that you're just corresponding about one of these like ancestry.com type websites. But she really gets to know this guy through the emails that she sends. So she's chatting to him, trying to like, I think her son had bought her, membership to an ancestry.com type website to possibly find DNA matches. She, every now and again, there'll be a letter that she's written to an author. So she writes to like Anne Patchett. So it's hilarious because she's like, why would you send a letter like that to some random author? She'll like write to them saying how much she loved their book and what she was reading. And I know you won't read this. Or I think she writes to Murakami at some point and says, oh, well, you wrote back to me last time. And you can just imagine her there with nothing much else to do in retirement other than write to people all the time. But as the novel goes on, you learn more and more about her from these letters that she writes. And they're like actually really quite sad life that she's had. And I just loved it. And at the end, I was like, oh my God, that was so sad. Yeah, I was like, that was a really, really good book. And one of the main things about it is that she's in her old age. She's got a like degenerative eye condition. So she's losing her sight. So a lot of the letters become more urgent as she's kind of losing that ability to write and read. But you're reading these letters from a lady who obviously loves books and loves writing, so it has got like a poignancy to it all the way through. It's great. I loved it.
Yeah, this sounds good. You've sort of sold me on it. I hadn't. Every review that I've seen of this has been like, it's nothing like the cover.
No, it's nothing like the cover. It's got a really high rating, average rating on Storygraph.
Yeah, which is phenomenally high. So,
and I think it'll be because people like me and you talked about that. We were like, I bet this is the twee entry on the prize list. Yeah, and then maybe I don't know marketing. It's obviously worked. They've got it out to the masses, and then people are, I think, very pleasantly surprised when they've then read it. So I think it deserves the hype train it's on. I thought it was really good. It's the highest I've rated a book in a long time.
Yeah, it looks good, Jen.
Sounds really good,
and
Jen.
It's quick. It's a really quick one. So yeah, I do highly recommend it. Oh, and then the other... Go on, sorry, you go.
Hopefully it's shortlisted. We found out
I haven't wasted my time. Kobe tells me it took 5 hours to read.
When's the shortlist out? When's the shortlist out, Jen?
This month at some point.
April. 22nd of April, I just checked.
Okay.
I thought it was like very soon, but I was wrong. It's 22nd of April.
Yeah.
It's the 11th today for the listeners.
I think the winner's in June. So, yeah, we'll have a bit of time to read the shortlist between us. And then the other thing, other than that, do you know what? I haven't had a very good start to the reading year. Like, I've read a lot, but they've all been mid. And I don't want to talk about mid books on here. I can't do it with any gusto. So
well, you don't have to. And Belle and I don't want to listen, do we, Belle?
No, nobody wants to listen to that. So the only thing I went and did yesterday was go to the library, and I shared this on Instagram. It's really good that I don't have any money because I do this in bookshops otherwise, and I just grabbed like a stack of books, one of which is Audition, which I've already had out of the library once and it had to go back, so that's on the long list. I don't know, Pat, maybe my gut is telling me that it's going to be shortlisted.
I kind of think that one's going to be shortlisted. That's my...
I think
do I read it? Do I jinx it if I start reading it?
I did that too, though. I took it out of the library and I had to return it because I didn't touch it, and they were asking
I
for it.
I didn't touch it in time. It is quite short. I've not really got an excuse. Then I got Love, Sex and Frankenstein by Caroline Lee. I think it's Lee, is her surname. We mentioned this book in our Frankenstein episode last season. I think it's a retelling of that kind of historical night where Mary Shelley and co had their little dare of who could write the scariest book or whatever. That's a retelling. I grabbed this one, Belle, because you talked about it, and I don't know how you say that word. Elegy.
Elegy. I've been saying elegy in my head, but now I say it out loud. It doesn't sound right.
Elegy's not a very nice word, is
elegy.
It? Sounding word. Elegy sounds nice. Elegy Southwest by Madeline Watts. Do you know what? I know nothing about it, but I love that cover. And when you shared it, I was like, that's a really good cover.
This was actually recommended to me by Pauline.
Oh, yeah, okay.
On the pod.
Also on the pod last season.
Yeah, when we went to a like primary school fete, and they had a secondhand book sale, which we went. It was really, really like well stocked. We were very excited, and we were just walking around going, "You should read this. You should read this." It was great. We each came across. I definitely came out with more books than she did. She had a lot more self-restraint than I did. But this is a recommendation from her, so I'm also going into it not really knowing much except the copy.
You've got it out at the moment, haven't you?
Yeah, I do. It's actually, I bought it from the UK because the copy is so pretty, and it's got a quote from Leslie. You should describe the cover.
It's like a. Did you used to do marbling when you were kids, where you put the like paints on water and then you put the paper on top, and when you lifted it, it had this amazing marble effect. So it's that with then like a bright pink block and then a really beautiful desert picture. I'm not really into photography on books, but that really, really works.
It's a really pretty cover. There's an author blurb quote on the front of my copy that's by Leslie Jamison, who's an American writer who I've talked about before. I read her memoir and I really like her writing. So that sold me on it as well.
Can I see the cover again? Can someone show me?
Yeah.
Mine's slightly different. My photo's different.
Yeah.
Let's see how that's got this gorgeous marble.
I think the photo is nicer on whatever edition I'm holding.
Yeah.
That's so weird. They're like different editions, but
you got the paperback. Yeah, I'm holding the hardback and Belle's holding the paperback.
How odd. That's the most similar I've ever seen different covers of the same.
What a weird choice. If you're going to make them almost exactly the same.
They're both like driving in a desert sort of photo. Yeah. One of them is of a desert and one's
the picture
sort
of the desert. Yeah, that is very odd.
From the back seat looking at the driver or the passenger seat.
I'm really tripped out by that.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to reading that one as well.
Yeah, me too. And then the last book I grabbed is because me and Sarah are going to do an author spotlight at some point this year, right?
Yeah.
Sarah's just horrified. Probably later in the year. This might have been the episode that we had planned that broke both of us. We were like, we can't do this anymore. Tessa Moshfegh's back catalogue. So I just grabbed the only one that the main library had, and that is Death in Her Hands. I don't know if this is her first. What is this, her first one? I have no idea. I had the one with the lamb. The one with the lamb on my bedside table. I had that one out of the library for ages, just sat on the floor, to be honest. And I had to take it back yesterday because I was like, fine, I'll just go grab a different one. And it was this one.
I will have an Otessa.
I will have one.
I'm not reading.
Leave on my floor, thank you. So yeah, that's my little library stack. I probably won't read them all, in all honesty, but I was very excited, and it gives me like my little dopamine fix that I clearly need constantly. Yeah, so we'll see what
I've just looked up, and the new Sophie McIntosh novel is out. It was published,
month, isn't it?
It was published on the 2nd of April. It's out, guys. And that one is called Permanence. And yeah, it's Sophie McIntosh's new book. I'm going to have to get that. I'm really, really excited about that. I haven't been in a bookshop since I left London.
2 weeks.
And that was before the 2nd of April. Otherwise, I'd know that. So, world record.
I know that was going to be a short period of time.
Yeah. I have not been in a bookshop for 2 weeks. So I'm going to have to get my sticky little hands on that. I'm really excited.
I think it's not out here yet. No, not yet. So I'm still well on time.
You're
23rd of April it comes out. It's the day after the Women's Prize.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what we wanted to chat about on this first episode of the year back. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that. Hopefully, I feel like
it was mid for me.
It was mid for Sarah. I had a great time. We've actually tried to record. We had recorded this episode already, and then we obviously had our slight panic and decided to scrap everything, and we were going to change what we were doing. But I feel like it's given us the breathing space. This is exactly where we wanted to do it, to do episodes like this, where actually we're talking about just stuff we're enthusiastic about, stuff we've read, rather than trying to like cram a load of prescriptive reading in. And hopefully this is how it'll continue. I can hear my kids have just entered the building and are screaming. So wrap up, everyone, wrap up. Thank you, everyone, for listening, and thank you to you both for coming back. It was touch and go for a moment, but we're here and we'll be here for the year, and we're very excited. So yeah, please, if you like what we do, if you've ever liked what we do, I think I made this plea on Instagram. It's really hard. There's no way of getting the news about a podcast out. Like, it's not like there is no algorithm that we can push to get our episodes out there. So if you've ever liked what we do, if you like what we do, please leave us a nice review or star rating wherever you listen to us. We're on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok. I don't sound like an old fogey. I don't know how you share stuff on TikTok, but you can share our posts on Instagram, where we're at Bookcast Club. Yeah, just that's the best way we can promote our podcast. So if you like our posts, please do share them on social media. We have a newsletter that you can sign up to, and obviously there's the Patreon, where you'll get more of this kind of chat. So if you would like to join us monthly on Patreon, you can do for as little as £2 a month. But yeah, we'll leave it there, and we will be back next month. We've already recorded it. How good does that feel? Actually ahead. Yeah, so we'll speak to you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.